everyday woman, woman, woman in every way. Yeah, yeah, I'm living my life, living day by day. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Every Way Woman. There are some major changes happening in the talk show world.
Live from Los Angeles, here's Every Way Woman.
Welcome back to Every Way Woman. So I want to continue the dialogue on the expectations of women, especially women who are middle-aged. Mm-hmm. I know, Amber, you and I were talking about that.
Mm-hmm. And I told you, what is middle-age?
I don't know. I mean,
okay. I was hoping we have to
that's what I'm wondering. Okay. It's like, how are we even, classifying middle-aged now? If 30 is the new 20, is middle-aged 60?
Wisdom. Mm-hmm. When you got that wisdom.
Well, I got the wisdom, but I'm not middle-aged.
I'm not ashamed of my age, though, but I did turn 34. So I don't know if is that middle age.
You're on the brink of it. You're knocking on middle age.
No. You don't hit middle age till you're about 45.
Cheryl, are you middle age?
45. No, I'm right here with Amber.
You're knocking on it.
But I am looking into the rim.
You're looking over the edge.
I will tell you, it is 45. It is the forgotten stage of a woman's life. 45.
What do you mean it's forgotten?
Because our roles changed so much.
Yeah.
Our roles have changed. Our mothers used to be younger.
Yeah.
They used to, how old are your moms? My mom is still in her 60s. Wow. Do you know how many moms I know who are in their 60s that have teenage kids? Middle age has changed.
Well, because we put our careers before the family, then they had a family later in life, and now middle age just happened and we're in a whole nother place of our lives.
It's changed because of technology and everything, so everybody's trying to stay young, they're on the computer.
And it depends on what culture you grew up in.
Yeah.
And what technology you live with.
But Cheryl, I wonder, do you have any sense of the expectations that you're, facing? You just got a new house.
Yes.
I mean, that's a huge responsibility.
And I want your job.
I need out.
Well, I know. I think I'm not middle-aged, but I think that moment when your responsibilities increase exponentially. Like, for example, my mom is also in her 60s. Fortunately, the later half of the 60s. I say fortunately because my dad passed away when he was 66. So to even just surpass that, I think is a good thing. But then I look at her and it's like, she's independent now, but I can, I can see the, the aging starting to set in, and I know that, like, my sister and I live nearby, and we're trying to get her to move closer to us because
so you can look in after her.
So we can look in on her. I mean, she's already been a cardiac patient, so we've already had to look after her in that response. And fortunately, she's healed from that, but we always worry.
Do you have a fear of taking care of your mom, or?
You know what? No, because I'm fortunate that we have enough family resources that we can get her the care she needs.
But Anna's been looking after several members of your family. Yeah.
Well, I take care of my mom. She's young, and I feel, I don't know if it's being the whole Latina, Hispanic community. I don't know, but I just feel like the necessity that no matter what, even if I had my own family, I still got to take care of her.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Well, yes, she's
I have a confession, though. Recently, I found out my father was stabbed. And in that, I got fearful because I was like, oh my goodness, I have to take care of this man. What if I have to take care of him? What if he's dead? What if I have to bury him?
How can you handle all of that?
He doesn't have any resources that I know of that will be able to take care of him. So that was that fear of like, what do I do when I have to go find him? Or if, I don't know.
I mean, what do you do? What kind of expectations do you have?
I really don't have any expectations of him, so I just kind of feel like it's kind of like me going to search for someone who I don't know.
But you have that.
But
like
it's just,
you feel you got
that
right. But I feel as a child, and this is my parent, that I have to go out and try and find him.
So it's our obligation then, as children, to become parents to our parents at some point.
I think I just go way back to when we were younger.
Asian culture, that's kind of built in. That usually it's the oldest child, preferably the oldest son, that is going to take care of mom and dad. It's built in. It's built in that culture. Okay. So unfortunately, I'm the oldest, so right now I live with my mom.
Okay.
And the oldest son, which is my brother.
Okay, so then I have a question. What if it's almost like an indirect parenting relationship? Like, for example, what if you had to take care of your husband's parents? How does that impact you? Because I know
they're on their own.
The relationship I just got out of.
They're on their own.
The relationship I just got out of, my ex-boyfriend, he was the oldest son of 8, but his parents were largely dependent upon him. And I just looked at my future.
That's huge.
I looked at my future of, especially, taking care of his mom. Now, she has daughters, but quite frankly, I felt like the burden of her care was going to fall to me. And the prospect of that was...
Well, I think the whole prospect of those obligations, expectations is terrifying. I can hardly handle my life as it is in my 20s, but to be expected to care for my own family, my husband, and my parents, and my husband's parents, my God, it sounds like hell. I don't know how any woman could balance those expectations. I really don't.
But I think sometimes what people forget is men go through a midlife crisis. And we all acknowledge it.
We're not alone in this.
But women go through one too, and we ignore it.
Okay,
Either that or we suck it up.
Ladies, I definitely want to continue this conversation when we get back from this break. Coming up next, more Every Way Woman.
Are you an every-way woman?
If you've been wanting to turn that 12-pack into a 6-pack, the doctors from Finesse Plastic Surgery are going to talk to us about the tummy tuck.
Everyone wants a flatter stomach, but for some, doing crunches just isn't enough. Dr. Gown and Dr. West are here from Finesse Plastic Surgery to share some options on how to get a flatter stomach. Now, I understand that there's some really innovative and also some extremely invasive ways to get that appearance of a flat tummy. What would be some of the most innovative ways to start?
The most invasive? Well, I'd like to start just by telling you about why this happens. So certainly in women, it's babies.
Yes.
In men, it's Budweiser. So to go back to the women, with pregnancies, not only does the skin stretch, but that 6-pack that you see in athletes also stretches and goes out to the sides. And so you get a little bit of a loosening of the tissue and less of a firm tone to the midsection.
Okay.
So any combination of liposuction and surgery can refine that trunk to get that better, tighter look.
So you would do both, liposuction and surgery?
Oftentimes both are done, sometimes one, sometimes another, and when we combine them together, it's called a marriage abdominoplasty.
Okay.
So the least invasive or the less invasive, it's going to be something using technology, like a cool sculpting.
What is a cool sculpting?
So cool sculpting is a device that's been around for several years now. Essentially what it does is it exposes the fat that you're having a hard time getting rid of. It exposes it to cold. So it's a suction device is attached to, pulls the skin and fat away from you and exposes your body to a cold temperature. Your fat is actually more sensitive to cold than the skin is, so you can hurt the fat cells and make them go away without hurting your skin. It takes about 2 months to see the results. The best candidates for that's going to be somebody who's in otherwise pretty good shape. Somebody who's maybe going to the gym, but no matter what they do, once they hit a certain age, they just can't get rid of the trouble areas. Maybe it's their flanks, or maybe it's the lower part of their belly, or for some people, the fat along the bra line. So people can come in and do a non-invasive procedure in the comfort of our office while they're watching a movie and have some of that fat melted. So that's probably the easiest thing that you can do.
Now, can they just target a certain area?
Absolutely. We have different handles or different applicators for the different areas. So inner thigh, outer thigh, lower abdomen, upper abdomen, back. We fine tune it to every patient.
Okay.
So that's the non-invasive, that's the cool sculpting. Now fast forward into the next stage, which is liposuction. Liposuction alone is good for women who are younger who still have that nice tone but have a little bit of those excess areas that they want to get rid of. And those are the regions where no matter how much working out, how many hours of the gym, they still have these collections of fat. They're stubborn and won't go away.
How long is a recovery time for a liposuction?
For liposuction, people, it depends on what you're asking. Part of the question is when can you go back to work? So it really depends on how much you do. For really targeted low volume liposuction, you might be able to do the surgery on a Thursday and go back Monday. If you're doing multiple areas and you're taking out a lot more fat, the person might need a week or two off work. It also, of course, depends on what you do.
Right.
Do you work behind a desk or do you have a really active type job? In general, liposuction is a relatively short recovery where you have discomfort, but we don't put many limitations on you because we haven't we haven't sewn the tissue. We haven't put muscle back together that we have to worry about healing. So it's more of a soreness.
Now, I have a couple of mommy circles, And that's kind of an issue for a lot of us mothers, even though we can get fit and back into shape, that we seem to have this excess skin that hangs. And it's not necessarily fat. What would you do for a mommy like that?
That's exactly the next step, is going forward to what's called a mini tummy tuck or a full tummy tuck. And the difference between the two is in the mini tummy tuck, it's a smaller incision, and it's mostly targeted to take care of that lower pooch of extra tissue.
Yes.
Okay? Versus a full tummy tuck, when there's more excess and loose skin all throughout the anterior abdomen, and that requires repositioning of the belly button and a little bit longer incision to get more of that skin to create that nice tight contour.
So you actually move the belly button when you do a tummy tuck?
When you do a full tummy tuck, yes, you make an incision all the way around it, you pull the skin down over it, and then you make a new opening for the belly button to come out. So it actually stays in the same position, but you make a new hole for it to come out.
Wow. That sounds interesting.
Well, it allows us to get out all the extra skin out that you need to have removed. And you'll never notice the incision because it's hidden inside the belly button.
Now, is that something a man would go through? I mean, with women, we tend to, but what about a man? Do men go through tummy tucks?
They certainly do, and in most cases, a lot of men store fat differently than women, and so it's more central fat, but they still do benefit from that same procedure that we do with our tummy tucks, which is bringing that central musculature together. With women, they have babies, and that stretches out that six-pack, if you will, and so they get what's called a diastasis repair. It's really creating an internal corset. If you remember how the corsets are made, they have the tight straps with the strings and you're pulling real tight, but it also brings in the midsection. And that's what we're doing internally on top of lifting and then stretching and removing the excess skin to give the overall hourglass shape to get that final nice refined result. Throw in a couple cc's of liposuction, then you have the absolute full package.
So if you don't have an hourglass shape, you could actually create one.
You can certainly get somebody closer to that shape. I mean, it depends on what the person is starting with. But somebody who is in otherwise good shape, that you go ahead and put the muscle back together, you remove the excess skin, you can absolutely accentuate their natural hourglass shape that they have.
Now, thank you, gentlemen. That was extremely informative. If you would like to find out more information about tummy tuck and less invasive procedures on that flatter tummy, please check out their website at finesseplasticsurgery.com.
Dr. West, I'm interested in finding out. I want to do just a little bit, not too much. I'm conservative, so what would you recommend? I don't want to be out here, but I want to just keep that liveliness to it. What would you recommend for me?
Well, the key with all these things is it really starts with a thorough evaluation. So what I would recommend is make an appointment with us. Come in, and we'll assess you, and we'll figure out what are your goals, and we can show you photos of a range of patients, what surgeries they have chosen, what implants they've chosen, so that you can start to get an idea of it. If you're talking about implants, we'll show you a range of implants. There's a huge range. There's hundreds of choices. We'll show you anything from a very small implant to a more moderate to a large implant, and we'll let you try them on. And you'll get a sense very quickly what makes sense for you. You know, it's like the porridge. You're going to find out what's too small, what's too big, and what's just right.
All right. And then, Dr. Gowan, the question my husband was going to want to know, he's going to like that, but the cost. Because I just want to do a little something, what can I do that will be cost-effective for my pocketbook? So, you know, can you tell me about cost-effective procedures? That's what he wants to know.
So certainly the breast augmentation is not going to break the bank, but when you add more procedures such as lifts and otherwise, it's going to cost more because it takes more time. I can't really give you a good assessment until we choose which procedure would work best for you, and then we can work out financing options that we have available through our office that can make it available to any person.
Everyday Kitchen is next with Everyway Woman.
Are you in every way woman?
Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. What's this all about? We're tasting tequila when we come back.
We're bringing the bar home. We are here with Manji from 88 Tequila, and joining us is Cheryl to let us know the difference about tequila, which I'm so excited because we get to play with tequila. I didn't even know there was a difference.
Yes,
Tell us.
So many differences. Our tequilas are actually ultra premium sipping style tequilas. So they're made with 100% blue agave. It's not your typical low grade tequilas. Ours are a little higher end. So the budget's a little bit higher, but it's very comparable to some of the other higher ends.
What's blue agave?
Blue agave is the type of plant that the tequila is made from. There's hundreds of different types of agave plants, and they all taste and smell so different. And blue agave is the top. It's the premium. And
so it has a taste.
Yes.
What kind of taste?
It's hard to explain. It's a little hard to explain.
Okay.
Because for some, it all depends on your taste buds. For some people, it could be sweet. For some people, it could be a little tangy. For other people, it could be a little sour. So it all depends on your mouth and what you like. Yeah, and what you feel.
What is it that you have?
We have a Blanco, which is rested for about 3 months. Most Blancos aren't rested at all. So ours is actually rested. It soaks in that agave flavor, so it gives you that very smooth feeling and flavor when it's going down your throat.
So rested means that it's stayed out longer, right? I mean, I don't know nothing about tequila.
Because once it's distilled, it's kept in these stainless steel tanks.
So that's rested.
Usually from there, they bottle it right away. So the Blanco's rested 3 months. Our second one is the Reposado.
The Blanco?
That is the Blanco.
Okay.
That's the last one. The middle one is Reposado, and that one is aged. Ours is aged anywhere from 8 to 12 months. The Mexican government only requires about 2 months. So ours is aged a lot longer, and it's aged in these bourbon oak barrels.
I can smell it already.
Which is what gives it the color, yes, and the smells and the taste. It's amazing. Then the last one here is Añejo. And this is the top of the top, and this one is aged for anywhere from 20 to 24 months. Typically, it's about 12 months. Most other brands and stuff would do it for, but ours is 20 to 24 months. So you get a lot more flavor, a lot more smells, a lot more smoothness, and it's just so much more enjoyable.
I can actually smell it all the way over here. That's why I was, smelling it. What are the difference between smells, though? Like, which one's stronger? I wouldn't even know.
It's not so much that it's stronger, but you get different smells out of the different ones. So like the Blanco, for instance, since it's rested in stainless steel, you smell a lot more of the agave. So you get citrus notes, you get herbal notes, you get floral notes out of the Blanco. When you move over to...
I can smell it all right. Just kidding. But I can't drink it. I'm going to be tipsy. I'm going to leave that to you, our taster.
There you go. Try that one out.
You're going to let us know. What's the flavor?
You know what? I can definitely taste the citrus notes.
Citrus.
It is extremely smooth.
Yeah,
smooth.
I mean, it's not.
You know,
so is that the way it's supposed to be? Smooth. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Very smooth.
Yeah. So when you move on to the darker ones, you get more of the walnut flavor, the hazelnut, you get the caramel, you get vanilla, you get a lot of different
the vanilla.
notes on that one. You still get some of the citrus, you get some of the floral, but it's all just kind of.
Is this one much harder though?
No.
Do you get that tequila?
A lot of people assume that the darker ones are harsher than the lighter ones. Darker ones are actually a lot smoother because they've been aged a lot longer.
Okay, now you talked about, well, before. Go ahead and taste it. Go ahead and taste it.
But I can smell the barrel.
Yes.
I do want to talk about the plants, though. You were you said that they were made out of different plants, so
there's different types of plants, but ours is just 100% blue agave. So ours is only the blue agave.
I couldn't. Yeah, that gave me the.
That's good stuff.
Only for today. So then they have it. All of them were by blue agave.
Yes, all of ours are 100% blue agave.
Okay, awesome. And so which one's the one that gives you that full flavor? Because the middle one's not here, so I can't taste it.
You get a lot of flavor out of all of them, but the añejo is the one you get the most different types of flavors out of it because there's so many different mixtures, and the resting gives it a lot more time to soak in all those flavors.
Which one is the strongest that you would say? I know every taste bud is different.
Yeah, everyone's so different. A lot of people assume that the darker ones are stronger, but to me, the darker ones are so much smoother. And
really?
Yeah, and the Blanco.
What do you say?
I would agree with that.
Yeah, see? And usually we go Blanco for shots, Reposado for mixing, and Añejo for sipping on. That's kind of my theory, but everybody has their own way of doing it.
Okay, so can you bake with it? Can you?
Yes,
I know we're gonna do some cocktails today, but
definitely.
Could you cook with it?
You can cook with it. You can make desserts with it. You can make popsicles with it. You can do margaritas, and martinis, and all kinds of cool stuff.
Awesome! I'm so excited. Well, girls, I think we should cheer to the end of the week. I want to hear that.
Cheers.
No tequila faces, and we'll be right back with Every Way
Woman.
Stay with us for tomorrow's stars.
Are you in every way woman? Are you in every way woman?
Every Woman celebrates tomorrow's stars, and today I'd like to introduce Cornelia. Welcome, Cornelia, to the show. Fellow Miss McMander, I am so glad to see you here in Los Angeles. We've seen you all over town. You can also find her on AfterBuzz. Today you're on our stage. Take it away.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Like she said, I'm originally from Michigan, Flint, Michigan, which is an hour outside of Detroit, but I never really go back to visit because as soon as you step off the plane, you lose your job. I don't know if you ever knew that. You get off the plane, you're like, did I just lose my gig? I lost my job. You broke, you lost everything. I also have a crazy mom. Anybody here have crazy moms? Yes. What I like to say is if you don't know or have a crazy mom, you're usually the crazy mom. So just keep that in mind. My mom is crazy. I caught her watching Fatal Attraction with a pen and a notepad. That's when I found out she was crazy. I walked in and she was taking notes, okay? But it was the 80s. I was raised in the 80s. My mom had a jerry curl. So that explains it. She had jerry curl and a drawer full of shoulder pads. So I don't know whether... As a child, whenever we would go places, she would be like, girl, that outfit would look good with some shoulder pads. And we would have to go in the room and get the shoulder pads. And I'm like, Mom, I'm 6. Like, what am I going to do with shoulder pads? I'm 6 years old, really? She also would use crazy scenes in her favorite movies to teach us lessons. Anybody familiar with Boys in the Hood? Mid-movie, Boys in the Hood, Ricky, who is the star football player, gets shot in the chest and he dies, unfortunately. But during that time in the movie, my mom looked at me and my sister and was like, you see, that's what happens when you don't do the dishes and clean up the bathroom like I told you. You see that? Get in there and do what I told you to do. It's ridiculous. I just wasn't raised right, guys. That's the point. I wasn't raised right. My dad took me and my sister out of ballet class because he was tired of missing Soul Train on Saturdays. He was like, you know what? Houdini was on last week, and I'm going to miss Boy George next time. Get your stuff, let's go forever. And I never went back. I think it was because he wanted to be a Soul Train dancer secretly, because he would make us move all the furniture out of the living room, and he'd be like, come on, kids, we going to kill him this week, yeah. But he was the only person who got to dance, and me and my sister would be sitting there waiting to get in all the time. Like, when we going to get to dance, Daddy? Never. We never got to dance. It's just crazy. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, I appreciate that. My aunt wouldn't babysit us right. She used to give us special pop with our spaghetti for dinner. Okay. When I got to college, I realized special pop was Seagram's fuzzy navel wine cooler. That's what it was. It was wine cooler. I was like, yo, is this special pop? This is delicious. I've been looking all over this. This is delicious. Where you get that? They're like the corner store? Okay, I guess. But that's just how I was raised. It was, you know, it was a different time and it was a different era. I'm also, you know what? On that note, I'm just going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Oh, Everyway Woman likes to give back to our community. To find out how you too can match our donations for undergarments for needy kids, go to everywaywoman.com. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
How long have you been in Los Angeles?
I've been in Los Angeles for about 4 years now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you love it, hate it?
I like it. I don't like the traffic.
Are you in every way woman?
Everyway Woman gives back to the community. Go to everywaywoman.com to find out how you can match our donations of undergarments for needy kids. Thanks for getting to know Everyway Woman.
This has been an Everyway Woman production.
I'm an everyday woman, 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 in every way, yeah, yeah. I'm living my life, living day by day, yeah, yeah. Are you in every way woman?